What is up, Retromaniacs? My name is Mike. His name's Joe. His name's EP. And we're here to talk about cards. Last week, we ran each of the card companies for a day and told you guys what we were going to do. Well, guess what? We quit because we only worked for a day.
Yeah.
But it's more than 7 days later. No, it is 7 days later. Something like that. But we got new jobs. We got new jobs running. Well, yeah, we did our work and we've moved on. But now we are the heads of the grading companies, only the major ones. We picked 4. No offense to the tag fans out there. I know the tag army gets a little defensive about stuff, but they didn't quite make this one. They don't want us. That's why we're not talking about it. But we are now the head of the grading companies for a day, and we get to make one decision for each one. So, Joe, let us know. We're going to start off with our old favorite, BGS.
Yes.
What are you going to do for BGS?
This one, we didn't talk about these ahead of time. Let's just throw it out there. We kind of want to be surprised as we go through. I wouldn't be surprised if all three of us have the same. I would not be surprised for Beckett. Embrace the subgrades. Embrace the subgrades. Don't even offer cards without subgrades. Like, whether you like Beckett or not, there is a niche out there that love subgrades. You say, we're the only company offering consistent graders notes on every card, and you lean into it. Now, I'm looking at the Beckett website right now. For the base cards, it is $14.95 per card without subgrades. For subgrades, it's $17.95. Why? Why? Is that $3 worth of ink that you're putting onto that label? I don't think so. Make all the submissions $14.95 with subgrades. You know what? Embrace it so hard. If they don't want subgrades, upcharge them $3 for that. Like, that's how much you need to lean into subgrades. That's what you're known for. Embrace it and carve your little piece of the grading world and don't compete. What you used the line already this week, Mike. Better than, greater than, different than. Just be different than.
Yeah, BGS, call Joe up. Like, totally do this. Like that's what you need to do, right? Like 100%.
Yeah, we've talked about it so much. Absolutely, 100%. You're the only company that does it. Like you have, and you're the only company that does it. There are a lot of collectors that love it. Own it. Perfect. I love it. Okay, EP, what are you gonna do for BGS?
I'm actually happy to BGS first because I know that neither of you guys are going to steal this one. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to say no. I'm pretty sure that I'm on an island in this one. Blow up that slab and blow up the label.
I knew it.
That's
gross. It's terrible. Yep. It's the worst slab and the worst label in the business. Blow it up. Give us something cool. Give us something fun. Give us something different. Something to be excited about.
I'm not with you on that, but I can see it though. Like I see both sides of that. I'm not in love with their slab, but I sent cards to Beckett way back when, so like they're kind of iconic to me, but they might need a little bit of a refreshing.
So I don't agree to just blow it up, but I'm with Mike on the refresh because it's probably the nostalgia thing of Beckett. You know, they always had those slabs. I like the inner sleeve. I'm probably on an island on that. I actually like the inner sleeve, especially with chromium cards. I think if you refresh it, maybe curve the corners a little bit more, maybe a different kind of plastic, but keep the same look. And the label kind of iconic too, especially the gold and things like that. So I'm not 100% with you, EP, but refreshing them is definitely something. I think they tried to, and the fans went kind of crazy, so they had to switch back.
Well, they did a really bad job of it.
They did a really bad job. Yeah. Shocking.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, while part of me wants to just call everybody up and say you're fired and we're closing down, that is not my option. I decided at the last minute, instead of closing down shop, to sell the damn company. We're going to get this out of this management's hand, like get it to somebody who cares about it. I don't know if it's going to be Fanatics. I really don't want it to be Fanatics, but I want it to be somebody who has resources, that cares about it, that cares about the hobby, that can maybe start to resurrect the brand. The Beckett name still has value. The fact that this grading company is like the worst right now is a shame. It shouldn't be that way. I remember when it was the best. Now it's the worst. Like, somebody, new management needs to take over, inject a little money into it. Maybe this is a combination of everybody's here, but we need somebody that can come in and make changes. And the people that are there now ain't the ones to do it. So if you don't sell it, I'm closing it down. You have your ultimatum. Do it.
I think if you do all three of these things, right, that generates a huge amount of interest. Like, potentially, because you're going to probably have to fire somebody to have my thing happen, and possibly to have Joe's thing happen.
There you go.
So, yeah.
But no, let's just keep doing the same thing we're doing and expecting a different outcome. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and that's exactly what's been going on with them. I agree with you. I hope it's not fanatics. I hope it's not collectors, but there's got to be someone out there. Now, here's my question for you, Mike. Will you just sell the card grading part of it, or will you sell the whole company? Because the comic book and some of the ancillary stuff is still actually probably pretty profitable. They're the upstart more than the establishment.
I'm selling the whole thing.
You're selling the whole company?
Yeah. I don't want anybody to have any ties to this company that were there before. So.
All
right, Joe. You're the head of CGC. I don't know about you, but this one I found the hardest.
It was the toughest one for me too. So I'm like, I love their slab, so there's nothing I really want to do with that. The label's kind of growing on me. I wish there'd be some consistency with their other properties, but okay, whatever. That's kind of growing on me. And then I was like, what are they putting out there right now? So I looked at the May numbers from GemRate, GemRate, and they graded total cards was 184,000 total cards. 160,000 of those were non-sports and TCG. I'm going in day one and doing a ridiculous special for sports cards, like to the point where people are just blown away at how cheap the bulk rate. And I've had it up here, and I probably
under $10 if you're a member right now.
So it's under $10 if you're a member. If you're not, it's 11, which is still really cheap. It's the bulk rate for 25 cards. I'm going to like $5 or $6 a card. I'm going super cheap, because you know what? You know what you don't see when you go to card shows or watch videos of people going to card shows? You don't see CGC slabs. You might see them in the non-sports and the TCG world. You do not see sports cards in CGC slabs. $5 to $6. Get those slabs in cases. Get them on eBay. Do whatever you have to do. I do it for a month, and then I'd probably do what PSA does and extend it another month so that people really, really send all those cards in. Get some sports cards in there. A viewer of the channel just sent his cards to CGC, his personal collection, and he loves it. He did a video on that. I wish off the top of my head I could remember his screen name, but I mean, give us a really, really cheap rate for those cards, for those sports cards.
BB?
Mike, I'm not sure if you had the same idea, but this was my idea as well. Like, you're just looking at the labels behind Joe there. Like, lean into the comic book stuff, lean into the TCG stuff, and like you said, Joe, what I thought it was genius when SGC was doing the top steals, like the for $9.99 a card, because they're getting their slap out there, they're getting recognition in the hobby. They're that is such an important thing, and if you're going to do that, like, ridiculous deals is the way to go. But again, like you said, Joe, lean into what we're already good at. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and look how well it worked for SGC. Like, their numbers really go up when they run those specials,
to the point where they might have gotten bought because of it. They might have gotten bought because of it.
Yeah,
I like this because how do you make yourself different than? You're not going to be the most valuable slab. So people that have slabs they're trying to flip and sell, they're not going to send you their cards. There are a lot of people out there that have personal collections that have a lot of cards that aren't worth grading, but if they can send $5 a card, they would use your service. So where other companies out there at $15 at the cheapest is PSA. I have a lot of cards that I'm not never gonna grade for that, but $5 just to have them even in a slab and secured would be a great idea. So go after the PC market, the people that want to grade cards that they're going to keep. Your slab is beautiful, the label is cool. I think that's a great idea, and I think it would be effective.
And it's slightly more expensive than buying a pro mold, right? Like if you go $5 or $6, and you're right, Mike, PC, people definitely want to have their cards look nice, to
you would think with the volume that they would actually make money off that too. You would think that they would get a huge amount of people sending in.
Yeah. All right. So my idea is a little bit out there, because the problem with CGC is they're just CGC. Like, people in sports don't want to use it. This kind of goes along with what you guys are saying, though. You know how the NFL likes to take ideas from other leagues that are effective and stuff and use it. They don't come up with any original thoughts. Well, I'm going to steal, since HGA isn't a thing anymore, custom labels. I feel like do something different. Look at us. We're a legitimate grading company. We have money behind us. We're not going away. We're grading a lot of Pokemon cards. We're going to do custom labels. I feel like that would be the one company out of the big four that I think could do that and be successful doing it. Whatever you thought about HGA, there was a point in time where it was really popular. And I remember all of us trying to get in on the little lottery to be able to grade cards. Admit it, you did it. You did.
Oh yeah.
But that Pat Tillman card with the USA, that is one of the coolest cards ever. HGA had a cool idea there, but they had idiots running the company. Let a little bigger company that could actually handle it go do it. Nobody else is doing it. Make yourself different. Make your maybe cheaper slabs will work. Maybe all of a sudden CGC will be one of the bigger amounts of graded cards every month.
So this is why this is such a good idea. They do it with comic books. They already do it.
There we go.
They do custom labels. Yeah. So like I some of these are scratched up. My Silver Surfer slabs are scratched up. I'm not going to resend them in because whatever, they look good. If they brought back the Silver Surfer custom label, guess what I'd do? I'd send them back to get reslabbed with the custom label. This is great. They already have experience with it. They have a pricing structure already set up. I think it's like $5 to do a custom label for one of the comic books. So it's not super expensive. I mean, yeah, to do it with cards, corporate synergy. I know EP loves that. I mean, you could throw that in, and I think the Pokemon would love this, right?
Crazy.
Right.
Like a Pikachu.
And they have the money to be able to license to do that right, where HGA was either like trying to skirt around the licensing, but they're a company that can afford to do it. That's why I think they could do it really well.
This was like my B option. Like I still feel like the Joe's. I really think that's the one I wanted to go with. But this is kind of like my B option. What if you just put the Marvel logo on Marvel cards and Marvel comics, or put the DC logo when we put the Pokemon logo on, stuff like that? Just something to make you stand out a little bit, and again, that would also appease those same, like lean into those already built bases.
Yeah. All right, Joe, SGC. We all love SGC. So I'm interested to hear what we're going to say.
This one to me is super low hanging fruit. They need to do it. I don't know I was going to use this one for CGC, but I don't technically know, since they bought JSA, how this is going. You need to borrow someone from PSA and do autograph authentication. You just have to. I mean, I get grading the auto. If it's a 10, we'll put the 10 on there. If it's not, we won't put anything. People still want that confidence that the autograph is real and it's not from a top set, with fake autos, or it's not just a fake auto. I think you're missing a big portion of the hobby world by not authenticating autos, either authenticating them from pack pooled or authenticating them through third-party signings. So put some money into it. You just got a big boatload of money from collectors. Ask your parent company collectors, hey, can we use this autograph service? People want their autographs authenticated in our slabs. Let's do it. They used to do it from my understanding, but kind of that in between time when we were out of the hobby. They need to bring that back. Autograph authentication seems like a no-brainer to me.
I like it. You're the only company that's not doing it now, too.
Right.
So
that's the big thing.
That when half of them were doing it, half weren't, was kind of one thing. But now you're the only one, and you're owned by a company that does it. So I would bet that you're probably going to see that.
Yeah, eventually, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Good idea.
All right, EP, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to lean into SGC's vintage. I would make them lean into their vintage. Everybody knows like the highest priced cards that have sold. The all the vintage cards are always in SGC slabs. Like lean into that 100%. What I would do is I would make vintage be maybe whatever price is now, and make the more modern cards a little bit more expensive to send in. That way, I would want to me who I am. I would lower the vintage price, just to make sure that you are the game in town for vintage. You're gonna have people that are going to avoid the PSA upcharges for really high end stuff because she doesn't do upcharges. And I feel like you become you're already the expert on vintage, but just grow that base even more, I think.
Yeah, and with them announcing they're gonna start doing specials like PSA does, like that'll be I would be surprised if you don't see a vintage special with them sometime in the near future, because like they're bread and butter. Like people, that is the one area where people go, well, I'll take a PSA or SGC slab. So I like that idea, AP.
I want to comment on this idea with a very specific thing, but I'm worried I might take yours like as I'm agreeing with EP's thing. So I'm not going to comment. Maybe I'll comment.
Everybody knows what I'm going to say.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I was going to say something too, but I was
sacrilege to some, so I'm not going to say it. But I'm going to say it. You need new damn slab. I don't like that tux. I don't like it. It's ugly. Now, hold on. Before I get all the hate, you can keep the tux, but give us another option that isn't that. Like, I know it might be weird, but what's the difference? Like, if you do like a PSA style slab with the SGC logo or the tux, I don't think it's not going to make any difference at the end of the day. But maybe I'll use SGC more. I just don't like the tux. It feels cheap to me. It's just not what I want my card to be in. I don't want to feel like if I drop it, it's going to like fly apart into a million pieces. I want a new slab. Is that so much to ask for?
So I feel dumb for not realizing that was going to be your thing. Like, because you talk about it all the time.
All the time. I don't like it.
I haven't had my beer today, I'm guessing is why it kind of left me. So real quick, before I comment on that, to your point, EP, about leaning into vintage, I think they need to do a set registry if they're going to lean into vintage, because I think a lot of vintage people would send their cards in and maybe do a set registry with that. So give them a cheap rate. To your point, Mike, completely disagree. Here's the thing.
No, I don't like those ugly things.
I know. I wonder what the numbers would be on people who are current SGC customers. Like, would they lose their base if they do that? Like, is getting and people like you getting your business worth losing potentially?
But you're going to offer both.
If you offer both, I guess it wouldn't be as bad.
Or clear slab. Tux or clear.
I think I like kind of a combo of yours where you still have the tux, but the slab is revamped, because I do agree about the slab. It does feel chintzy. The corners being corners instead of rounded. I don't love that either. Same thing I said with Beckett. Like, so I think a revamp of the actual slab, I'm with you, but the tux is just so iconic for them that I don't see them getting rid of it. I don't even see them giving an option. Maybe a clear tux like PSA uses for some of their smaller cards. Maybe
the tuck's on the label. Then come on, you're fine.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like I didn't want to. I knew you were gonna blow up the slab and probably the label. I don't know if you liked their label or not, but I knew you were gonna. That was what you were gonna do.
Label's like, boring, but I'd accept it. Yeah.
But like I feel like doing something with those vintage cards then too, either with the slab, it's like it may be a different color or a different style, and or adding something to the label with like for vintage stuff also would help to make those people that love the vintage SGC slabs. I would make them love it even more and probably send in more stuff, I think.
Okay, Joe. Nat called you up. Was like, hey, I'm busy this week. Can you give me a day? You're gonna run PSA. You can do whatever you want, Joe. Go ahead.
So, I mean, there are so many big ideas that I'm sure even you guys will talk about. I'm going to go super small, ironically, considering what it is. It's going to be a super small idea. Bring an expert from SGC and teach your graders how to grade thick cards. It's one of those things that doesn't sound like a big deal unless you watch reveal videos. And you see how many people their minds are blown when they're going through their orders and they're saying, oh, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 8, 2. What? Wait a minute. What? How did this thick card that looks absolutely perfect get such a low grade? I don't, again, it's not going to change the world. They're doing great things over there. They have specials and they're like the turnaround's decent and their secondary market's amazing. So really, what can you do? Just make the product better, what they, currently have. And by that, I just grade more consistently, especially the thick cards. Those it drives me nuts. I don't send thick cards to PSA. I don't send much to PSA, but I definitely don't send thick cards. It's a fool's errand. It's just stupid to do. If you are doing it, stop doing it until I take over for a day. Train them to grade thick cards.
Love it. Absolutely.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say they probably do have people there because they have people there who know what they're doing. They just have so many employees, new people that I don't know if you can even teach all of them. But I'm not going to say too much else because I have more coming up in my part. So.
What's funny is I EP and I watch Little Victories and his reveals all the time. He had a thick card and it came back like a PSA 9, which is what he predicted. And I commented and he completely agreed. I said, it's a good grader. It's an accurate grader when they look at a thick card and give it an appropriate grade. And he goes, I couldn't agree more. Like that, you got the top grader in the company if they graded a thick card appropriately.
All right, EP, you're going to run PSA. Nat wants you to do Tuesday. What are you going to do?
Well, I have this one was like tough for me. I don't know what to think. I mean, they're already working on the slab, trying to make the slab better. The thing is, they're the front runner, right? Like they are the ones that are they're the ones steering the ship in grading. Like everybody's going to follow them for the most part. I feel like the one thing they could do is to just dive in. They're already doing the specials, but dive in and get weird with specials. Just dive in and do multiple specials every month at different price levels, and I like pick some weird stuff though, like some stuff that are maybe that might draw in some people that aren't normally using PSA slabs. Like still try to see some people from SGC, from CGC, and I think that's my take.
I like it. Like you could do 3 or 4 lesser specials in that same month. Mm-hmm. And bump up your volume, like to help control your numbers and stuff. But yeah,
and have a couple that aren't a 10 card minimum too. Like I could just kind of get weird with it and try to get a couple people.
I like that. Like they've never run like a wrestling card special, which kind of surprising with the popularity of that. Like that could be a good minor one to run with a couple others.
DC cards, like same thing to wrestling. DC cards are coming out. Do a DC special. I mean, try and get some of the older stuff in now before DC cards hit. And then they're letting people know we grade DC cards. So come to us when the new stuff comes out from Upper Deck. I mean, it'd be super small, but Star Trek, Star Wars,
mm-hmm.
The Star, those type of cards. I mean, I really like this because they're always going to consistently get those sports card specials, those TCG specials. but they don't do a lot of that. Wrestling's a big one. I'm really shocked they don't do something specific to wrestling.
When the Deadpool movie comes out, like have a deal where they just all Marvel cards, you know, with a certain price. Like I think they could really do a lot of cool stuff with that. I think.
Yeah.
All right. PSA is doing a lot. They've done a lot. I do like the fact that where this company was when they shut down, and looking at it now, they've done a fantastic job in growing, but I want to keep growing. I want to hire more graders. I want to just upscale this company so much. I want this company to be the freaking McDonald's of grading.
They
and
aren't
we're going to
already.
get that price down under $10 a card. We're going to be at $9.99 because we're going to hire more graders, and we're going to get rid of BGS. We're going to put the stake through their heart and put them out of their misery. We're going to get rid of CGC because nobody cares about them. We're the big show in town. We're even going to get rid of SGC. We're going to turn them into PSA because we already own them. We already took care of them.
They're separate.
We're going to build this company up, and we're just going to obliterate all the other companies, because if we're at $10 a card, heck, maybe even $8 a card again every now and then, we're going to just blow every other company away. They're going to be gone. We're going to be the only show in town, and then we can raise our prices back up, and we won't have to worry about it. So I'm going to expand the company even more so I can lower prices.
How a true monopoly works. Buy everyone else, undercut everyone's prices, get them out of business, and then raise them up. I know why Mike's taken over the company. I know, because he has been saying for years that they are going to be $10 to $12 per card.
He wants to.
So he wants to say, you know what? I said this
I was right
3 years ago.
Exactly.
Finally, I'm proving Joe Day wrong. $9.99 a card. I know how you think, man. I know how you
do.
think.
As you were going off, I thought that in my head I pictured all these PSA facilities popping up in like Mexico and Germany and China.
Maybe send them to China.
Yep,
they're Danville. It is going to be like a McDonald's. There's going to be one off of Route 80 in Danville. You can just drop your cards off.
I like it. Yeah, see, we're riffing here. This is how it works. Yeah.
When they come back into work the day after Mike leaves, you're like, what happened? Why did we buy this building?
Location. Oh, well, we had a little fun with that. Hey, let us know in the comments, as always. Let us know what you would do. And let us know, are you going to go to the drive-through PSA and send your cards in? Here, I'll give you these, and then you drive around, you pick them up.
Drive around, and they're graded. Yeah, exactly. With a McFlurry.
I cannot wait. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. We'll be back next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
See you.